Okay, beautiful people. So we are on the eve of the super rare blue full moon in Sagittarius that's happening this weekend. It's going down. Yes, yes. Okay, so I did a video I put out last night about what this energy is about. But it's so vast, it's so expansive that I felt like I couldn't even begin to put it all into one video. Um, and really, I cut myself off last night because I needed to go to bed. I needed to eat. I needed to go to bed. Um, yeah. So, so that I don't have a full moon moment. Um, so today, what I really wanted to do, because yeah, I'll touch a little bit more on this energy in general, what it's bringing for us, but I really want to use this video to help all the signs tap into what is on the agenda. Okay. So, but the expansion, one of the main things that I really want to emphasize about this energy is belief. Oh, shoot, I'm not even recording. Oh, I am recording. Okay, anyway, so one of the main things that I really want to emphasize when it comes to this energy is the importance in our beliefs. Okay. In psychology, we have this thing called core beliefs, right? And our core beliefs are the foundation for the narratives that we run. And the narratives that we run are what determines what brainwave frequencies that we're on. And what brainwave frequencies that we're on determine what we're a vibrational match to. And what we're a vibrational match to determines what experiences we can have. And most importantly, that we can create. This Shake Shit Up Moon is wanting to help catalyze us into embodying a higher truth so that we can experience, not only experience, but create new experiences, right? And so um, we're not just having, we are creating. And we are creating because we are being, we are embodying. So it's time to embody the new. Now, back to beliefs. Belief systems are so incredibly powerful. They make or break us. And it's really time to stand on what our beliefs are. It's not just about theory, it's about practice. Sag is about higher learning. Yes, it can do this through institutions, but one of the best ways to do that is through experience. And what we embody is what is creating our capacity for what type of experiences that we can make for ourselves. Okay. And so if our beliefs are limited, there are many belief systems. Sag is really connected to faith, what we buy into on an energetic level. But this is not just something that is outside of us. It's like these philosophical concepts. We all have our own philosophies, okay, that are tied to our core beliefs about the world, about what gives someone value, about what makes someone a productive member of society, about what is important, what is valid, and what is not. And these things are creating what we perceive as our limitations or as us having more vast options, our freedom. We're all desiring to break free from something. So, how have your beliefs been aligning you with expansion? How have your beliefs been aligning you with contraction? Okay, because if some beliefs allow us to tap into different brainwave frequencies, Some beliefs keep us in the same ones that we were raised in, the same ones that we inherited, the same ones that we took on, whether from a parent, a family member, a religion, a culture, a philosophy, the world, society. It's time to create your own philosophy. And it's time to determine what your beliefs are and stand on those through the embodiment of them. If you believe in that, okay, that's what that looks like in theory. That's what that looks like on paper. How does it look in practice? How can you be that truth? Like, how do you symbolize that that belief is the truth? Okay, so what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you open to? What are you closed off on? And how is this making you feel confined? How is this making you feel limited? Are you trying to get people who don't understand that we're all multidimensional, vast, limitless, boundless beings to understand that about yourself? Are you stuck on their perspectives? Do you think that that makes you valid? Or can you lean into something bigger? Life, I don't think it's something to navigate without belief in something bigger than ourselves, bigger than our limited understanding that we have in the moment. And the thing about leaning into what we don't understand is that eventually you will know why. You will, because it is not the brain that knows all and is this just most powerful being. It is the heart, and so Sag, because it is a masculine sign, it wants to understand on an intellectual level. It wants to philosophize. It wants to turn faith into a religion or into a belief system that can be practicalized. Right. And so, how do we apply our belief system in practice in real time? What are your philosophies? How do you abide by these philosophies? How do you betray them? How do you commit to them? This is a check-in point and a reminder that it should feel like freedom. It is so freeing to not have to wrap your mind around, to not have to try to figure everything out, to not have to make peace, to manufacture it from scratch on your own. Okay. When there's a version of you that is at peace right now. And there's something so liberating, so expansive about truly understanding what it means to be a part of a multi-dimensional, boundless reality. To know that the me that you're looking at right now is just one of multiple parallel universe, alternate universe, past and future life versions of me, right? So if you can only see this version of me right now with your conscious mind, then obviously what you know within this experience will always be limited. And that should actually be freeing because the things that you overthink, the things that you are stuck on trying to understand, and that pursuit confines you, or that pursuit is a burden on you, give it up to something bigger, a bigger picture. There are so many pieces of the puzzle that you are not seeing, right? So give it to your higher power, give it to a bigger picture, give it to faith that you will see how all of the colors of this beautiful painting are meant to come together. To not believe in anything makes life really, really hard. I don't know how atheists do it because every time something happens, it's just, oh, this is happening to me. Why is this happening to me? It can never be for me because there's not a deeper purpose. But if we focus ourselves instead on allowing a deeper purpose to unfold through us, through surrendering to the fact that we know there's more at play than what we can conceive, we will experience a deeper peace than we knew was accessible. And that, my friends, is freedom. Sagittarius rules the legs and wants to run away. I want to get away. It's like, it's that type of vibe. But how can we use these travels, Sag rules travel, these travels that we do, not just physically, but to different mental landscapes through what we expose our minds to, the possibilities and the realities of the vastness of all that is beyond what we just learn in a traditional setting or from a traditional perspective, beyond what we inherit. How does that translate to higher wisdom? How does that translate to not needing to escape? You are the escape. Sag is not just physical travel, it's astral travel. And we tend to think that freedom is a destination, but freedom is an occupation. So, how can you broach each day as an opportunity for adventure? A spiritual adventure, a cosmic adventure, an esoteric adventure. It's all about the energy, feeling new energy. How do we feel new energy? A lot of people, they wait around for the tarot reader to tell them when they're going to feel some new energy, or the astrologer to tell them when they're going to feel some new energy because this planet's going to align with that planet and this and that and that. And that is going to make your life feel so much better. No, it's what you do with the energy, right? Opportunities are happening. Windows of opportunity are opening up all the time. But will you take it through your action, through how you live your life? It is time to be courageous enough to step into something new, to not just look at what's around you for inspiration, to look at what's above you. Look at what's beyond you, what's beyond your conception. How do you lean into that? Because that's what makes life exciting. That's how we determine that right here, right now is the place to be. And everybody's outside of this club trying to get in here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Access to in here is, I mean, people think it's limited, but once we create a life where we say, wow, right here, this is it, you know, that's that's when we're living right. And when I say right, I don't mean there's a right and a wrong. I mean aligned with the right hemisphere of the mind that allows us to live righteous. It allows us to not just look at what is on the surface, look at the mundane, look at the physical, look at the 3D world, and say, okay, well, I guess that's it. But that allows us to say, oh, wow, there's so much more. And yet, I can only fully tap into that here, in the here and now. And so knowing there's something about knowing that there's so much more that allows you to be and create so much more. Even though you're inside of a limited human consciousness, you're also so much more than that. And so, how do you bring that down to earth and anchor that into this reality through your presence? All right, now let's go ahead and get into the signs. Okay. Let's just do now a quick esoteric breakdown of how each of the signs will be affected by this full moon based on the houses. So sun, moon, rising, especially this is mapped out based on the rising sign. So do tap in. Okay, so Aries, this is in your ninth house. Ninth house is the Sag house, and this Sag full moon is at the ninth degree. So there's an emphasis here for you on Sagittarius energy. And this is forming a trine to your rising. This is forming a trine to Aries. So Saturn, Neptune. We had the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. We also had the new moon in Aries during Aries season. So the seeds you were planting at that time, you're starting to see how that's working for you now. Are the things that you're moving toward, are the perspectives that you're taking on, are they expansive or are they contracting? Do they make your world feel bigger and your possibilities feel more vast, or do you feel more constrained? You may have physical travel going on around this time or being planned. You also may be experiencing increased access to astral travel as well. And so different things are coming into your awareness that want to help you break free from any previous mental constraints. Um, and so with the trine here to Saturn and Neptune, you have all the energy that you need now. Now is really the time for you to apply higher wisdom to your endeavors, whatever your dreams are, the world building that you're doing with Saturn, how you're informing that through your dreams with Neptune. That is being catalyzed at this time for you to step into that in a bold way and to don't be afraid to bring an otherworldly flair to what you do. Everything doesn't have to be um, this overly logical way of going about things. So break yourself out of those constraints. And I think it's going to be a pretty smooth time for most of you Aries risings out there with this full moon falling in your ninth house and forming a trine to your sign. Um, you're on fire right now, honestly. And I would really tap into just any way that you can expand. And so right now, you may also have been thinking about taking a class, getting back in school, getting a certification, something like this. But there are a lot of keys for you right now, or you may be becoming more aware of how many keys there are for you within disciplines like astrology, esoteric studies, philosophy. So now is really a time for Aries people to be creating their own philosophies. Don't look at what the world has built, the status quos that they have built in terms of belief systems, in terms of modes of operating, of moving about in the world, of leaving your mark, creating your legacy. Don't look to what has already been created as like a template, as a blueprint, but see yourself on your own journey. And that's going to really help you to also tap into this feeling of freedom. What is your truth? Create from that place. We're not looking to replicate, we're looking to create something new. And Aries is meant to do that in a bold way. You are the fool in the tarot. You're willing to step into uncharted territory and lead the way for others. You're a cardinal sign, so you're meant to inspire, not to follow. Okay, so tap into your higher wisdom, your higher vision. Fire is sight. So, what is the vision that you have in your heart? What is it that you're looking to catalyze? What's going to give you that spark? Aries is all about that inner spark, the child of the zodiac. You're just landed on Earth, and there are so many possibilities. You just got here, so everything is new. So there is nothing to replicate. There is no blueprint. You are the blueprint. Okay. So that's Aries. Now, Taurus. Taurus, you have this full moon falling in your eighth house, and it forms an inconjunction. Okay. So with an inconjunction, it's actually this aspect, you can get a lot done under this energy, especially because there are new things coming into your awareness at this time if you are a Taurus person, specifically Taurus rising. Things are being illuminated, things have been illuminated around this time, and it may be a little bit slightly uncomfortable. You know, you're a fixed sign, Sagittarius is mutable, so there is a need to kind of stay the course here, but stay the course in terms of being flexible. You know, so when you get this information, when you get this new insight, this new awareness come into your psyche, it's not about automatically panicking because it requires you to move into some type of change, which, you know, kind of can be kind of stubborn. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it's setting you up for transformation. So, psyche meant soul, right? This is the root of the word psyche. There's something that your soul has been seeking. And you're either granting yourself access to that, you're surrendering to that. If you've been surrendering to that, then this is going to be a beautiful time for you. If you've been in resistance with that, then you will see how that resistance is paying off for you, how that is not allowing you to truly experience and express your true value on this planet. Okay, so it is about that time, that ego death time, which is just allowing you to experience and create something new. And that's something we all crave, you know. So take a deep breath and pause before just wanting to stand your ground in terms of doing the same things, seeing things the same way, most importantly, because this is about something coming into your subconscious that you previously did not want to look at. And this information is going to be key. This information can potentially have money in it for you. It can potentially have healing of genetic predispositions in it for you. It can have just transformation, and that inner transformation, that being the path that you're being guided toward right now is going to also transform what is outside of you, what is around you. This is a time for Taurus people, especially Taurus rising, to go within and to be okay with spending some time within, spending some time in silence, in darkness, doing some rituals, you know, tapping into the occult, spending some time with that moon outside will be beneficial for y'all as well. Okay. Gemini. Gemini, this falls in your seventh house. Gemini risings, okay? But Gemini sun, moon, rising, it's all relevant. Definitely check out all three. So Gemini people, you're in the spotlight right now. We're all watching you. We're all looking at you. We're all learning from your energy. And that's the good, the bad. Yeah, we're kind of all being immersed into this right now. So what we're experiencing collectively, you have that going on intensely because of the sun and Uranus also being in this same, occupying this same energetic space right now. And so, Uranus is a planet of sudden change. So the fact that the moon is opposing as the sun and Uranus are getting intimate, sudden shakeups, different things have happened very quickly for you around this time. And a lot of those things are connected to your most important connections and the way that you communicate and express yourself in those. Is the way that you communicate and express yourself in your connections, does it feel freeing to you or does it feel constraining? Are you putting constraints on others that make them lead them to feeling a lack of freedom? Or do you know how to have a symbiotic relationship as opposed to an extractive relationship? So, this being in the seventh house, this connects to long-term investments. So this is partnership. This is like long-term relationships, marriage. This is long-term friendships. This can be institutions that you are connected to. So like a school or a corporation that you work with or work for, or something like that. So, how do these energetic spaces and the alchemy that your energy creates with their energies, how does that make you feel? Do you feel limited? Do you feel constrained? Or do you feel uh, expansive? Do you feel like the what you're committed to is helping you commit to your growth? So there may be outdated ways that you connect with others that are being brought into awareness. There are ways that you try to navigate your relationship with others that may not be working anymore. And there have been different shakeups to show you this so that you can look inside and shift how your inner communication works, right? Gemini is about Mercury, is about the brain, hemispheres, the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, um, creating equilibrium. The seventh house is the house of Libra. So having this here is all about balance. Are things equal? Is there equal give and take? Is there reciprocity? Do you give back the same type of energy that people give to you? Do you get back the energy that you put out to others? Where are there imbalances? How do you communicate in ways that have stagnated that it's time to break free from? So this starts with our inner communication, our communication with whatever higher power we believe in, our communication with that this is setting the foundation for how we communicate with everyone else. So if we have no type of spiritual foundation, if we don't have strong beliefs in something bigger than ourselves and our own carnal desires, then you're going to see the constraints that that creates right now in what you can create in your life. So before any institution that you can commit to is thought of as a priority, remember that your being is an institution. How do you run that? What is the reputation that you're creating through how you communicate? Because this is a part of your legacy. That's why Libra exalts in Saturn. So it is how we are connecting with others that will impact our legacy, but also impact our hearts, right? Because the seventh house is connected to those scales of Ma'at, those balancing scales that when we pass over, and it's like, if you weigh your heart against a feather, is your heart really heavy or is your heart light like a feather? Right. And so right now you're learning through whatever's been happening, whatever fallouts or whatever's coming together, you're learning, okay, this helps me feel lighter. This helps me feel more free because this is in balance. Or this makes me feel like I'm in a self-imposed prison because I am stuck on my own perspective. So how can you break free from your perspective and create more equilibrium, more balance, more harmony, first as within, so without? Okay. Now, Cancer. This falls in your sixth house. So how can you incorporate truth in your day-to-day, truth and freedom, these principles into your day-to-day practices? Okay, so there are rituals. When people have beliefs, they, for a lot of people, their belief system is all about theory. It's not about practice. It's something that they can study. It's something that they can recite a Bible verse or they can tell you about the Kabbalion or whatever. But when you look at their life, it's not integrated. Our rituals are a driver for our routines are a driver for the experiences that we want to have. And our routines are our rituals, okay? Because they produce different outcomes. So we can think of it as in a mundane way, routines, sixth house, brushing my teeth, making the bed, and for Cancer, of course, it's important how the home is, but routines are not just these mundane things. They are rituals that can open up our world to experience things way beyond the mundane. So, with having this full moon here, you may have felt recently like you have a need to really feel magic more so on your day to day. You want to feel expansive, you want to feel unlimited. And so you may be learning how that time at the park every day, or doing some stargazing or playing with some tarot cards or taking a sea salt bath every week. These different things that you can do on a regular basis that help you feel connected to yourself and connected to the cosmos. So there may have been different things going on around this time as well with, say, for example, your health. And because that's something that's sensitive for you under this moon. But also we have, so pay attention to your body and the signs that your body has been sending you. There may be the remedy for this may be something more, a little bit more outside the box, something that you have to do deeper research to find the truth on. So if you've been stuck on something, feeling like you can't cure it, you can't heal it, now is the time to do some do some investigation, do some research. This is the house of Virgo. This is how to do some research, deep dive into what it is that you're needing. It may be an alternative form of medicine. It may come from naturopathy or Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine. Um, Now may be a time to learn about herbal remedies, whole food remedies, as opposed to mainstream remedies you may find very helpful, but not just for physical ailments, but for mental, emotional ones as well. Okay, so now moving on Leo. So Leo, this is your fifth house. You're right at home here. Leo rules the fifth house. So this is all about the inner child. This is about creative self-expression. It's sextiles um, Gemini, so you'll have more access to understanding what this energy is about, what's going on with these shakeups, how that's actually helping you. It's actually um, opening you up to the perspective that you need to set your inner child free. So for Leos, I want you to go back in time to when you were a child and when you were first introduced to things like religion, and different belief systems, what was your visceral reaction? What did you feel? What did you think about these ideas? Did you feel like they belonged to you? Did you feel like you wanted to adapt them? Did you feel like they didn't make any sense? Um, did you feel like you wanted to be committed to them? And really, it's a time to shed what is not really for you in terms of your beliefs, but also, so there's been some way of navigating those that has not, maybe not let your inner child really feel free. So this time is about emancipating them, letting them define for you what freedom means, what truth means, and what is a reality that you don't have to break free from. And this is going to have a lot to do with authenticity. It's enough with the people pleasing or with the masking and being focused on your image. That's not serving you. Let's stop focusing on how things look and focus on how things feel. Okay. And there is a deep need to express yourself authentically. If not, you may feel trapped. You may feel very confined. If you are expressing yourself authentically, you're going to see that connect you to a bigger community. You're going to see that um, enhance your connection with yourself and with your beliefs, whatever those are. If they need to be shifted, you can do that on your own terms. And you can explore that in ways that feel fun for you, with this being in the fifth house. Um, okay. Virgo, this is in your fourth house. So there are things that you learned from how you were raised, the household you grew up in, and the energies that comprise that space that left an influence on you that you're looking to break free from at this time. So how do you want your household to be run? How do you want your home to feel? First with your heart, how you feel, and here being the home that you have wherever you go, being the calm in the eye of the storm, because even if a physical home was taken away or there wasn't physical security in the home, now you're learning how to cultivate that in here. So Virgo, you have a square to this full moon, and the South Node is in your sign right now. So there are outdated modes of operating that are starting to become uncomfortable at this time, or you're learning, oh, I'm so glad I broke free from that. I'm so glad I no longer am being captured by that influence. And a part of how you're going to do that is with the fourth house being the house ruled by Cancer, and us having Jupiter in Cancer right now, which is also the ruler of this full moon. It's all about how you feel. It's about guardianship of the heart. But what does that look like? That doesn't look like hypervigilance. That doesn't look like allowing your nervous system to always be dysregulated. It doesn't look like being neurotic and overthinking everything. It looks like creating peace regardless of the outer circumstance, including what happened in childhood. How can peace be made with that? How did you learn? Because it's also a very karmic time for Virgo. How did you learn to develop yourself into who you're meant to be through what you experienced in childhood? So, what a parent did or didn't do for you, what did that leave you to figuring out on your own? And how did that make you into the beautiful person that you are today? And how can you continue to lean into that and expand on that sense of inner safety? What makes you feel good to do? What is something that no one else can take away from you? These are the things that Virgo wants to focus on right now. And there can be some tensions that come up, some quick bursts of anxiety. Sag wants us to realize we have the power to shift out of that. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, rules the mind. How can we get on a different brainwave frequency? How can we heal our nervous system from the instability created in childhood? What do we need to be doing on a regular basis to pour into that healing so that we can access a higher timeline because there are so many potential timelines that exist, right? So this is also about regeneration, okay? This is also, and as we're moving into Libra energy, it'll be a continuum of how to work on the brain or how to let go of relying so much on the brain. This is something Virgo is learning how to do right now. How can you let go of needing to understand all of the ins and outs of everything, of needing evidence or to have justice, or to need to have the puzzle pieces of understanding why your parents did that or didn't do that, or why you were raised this way or that way, or why you didn't have parents, or why you didn't have family, or how you were in survival mode growing up. These are not always things that we need to just fully understand on an intellectual level. These are things that we need to let go of in terms of like neuroplasticity, right? Because a lot of our brain development happened during that time, during childhood. But now it's time to get in your power and realize that we're creating adult-born neurons at any age as long as we're stimulating our brains. So how can we not overstimulate the brain, right? But how can we just stimulate it into homeostasis? Brain stimulation techniques, working out, dancing, learning something new. Right now is a great time to learn something new and to trust and believe in a higher power and a truth that is beyond what maybe you can make peace with your conscious mind, but out of the mind into the body, Virgos, okay? Now, Libra. Libra, this falls in your third house. Third house is a Gemini house. You are forming a trine to the sun and Uranus. So you have likely you're in a good space with connection. If you're not, then you're learning how to be. You're learning, and this is really in terms of your internal communication is what is being highlighted right now. How do you talk to yourself? Do you have an inner monologue? I didn't know some people don't have an inner monologue, but do you have an inner monologue? If so, what do it be talking about? Like, what is on your mind? What is it that you're looking to express? How does that connect you to your community, your local community? So if you're a Libra placement, it's really time for boots on the ground to bring your creativity and what your inner journeys have created for you to offer to others. We want to hear from you. We want to connect from you. Is there something preventing you from doing that or making you feel as though there are limitations? You also are forming a sextile to this full moon. So there's some understanding here of what you need to do. It's only a matter of getting to it now. Okay. Scorpio. Scorpio, this is falling in your second house. With the full moon falling in your second house, you're learning what your true value is at this time, not just the value that you have to offer in like the matrix sense in terms of like your career, although that may be a focus at this time as well. But what is the foundation for that? The foundation for that is your intrinsic value, your inherent value, the worth that you have because you're valid, because you exist on the planet. What is that for you? Do you know what your value is? What is it about you that you get into um, connection with others or with different hobbies and passions? What is the what are the common threads there? Um, Scorpio is right next to Sag. So they're close to the same esoteric space, which means they breathe each other's esoteric air. Like they take it in, right? So Scorpio is really familiar with looking for truth, but it doesn't always know um, what through what modality it wants to search and doesn't necessarily know what it's searching for. And it's something that you have to be transformed to understand. So, right now, with this in conjunction to Gemini, there is a big opportunity to learn that there are more vast ways that your true value can be connected to. So, the way the life that you create, the connections you create, the experiences you have when you don't know your true value, when you don't know what you have to offer in any space is completely different than when you do know what this value is. So it's about being willing to bring this value to light. If there is wisdom that you have to share, share it. If there's truth that you've tapped into on your path, then communicate that truth, embody that truth, allow yourself to be rebirthed into that. into that being that you already are, that you have felt distant from because of blockages, because of not being able to see fully clearly. Because if someone is standing right next to you, the way that Scorpio stands next to Sag on the zodiac wheel, if someone is standing right next to you and you both have your head facing forward, you see them from the periphery. You're getting a glimpse of truth. You're getting a glimpse of freedom, what these things are about, right? But you're still learning how to shed what you are not to fully step into that truth because sometimes there are obstructions, and a lot of times that has to do with your ego. So, how can you express your value without worrying about how it'll even be received? That's a huge part of this. That's not your business. No, you're going to do you and trust that that is in alignment with a bigger picture, right? Trust that that is in alignment with something that your ego can't perceive right now. So you're just going to have to do it because it feels authentic to you. Okay, Sag, you have it in your first house. So there's a lot of ego refinement going on right now. There is a lot of um, rebranding going on right now. There's a lot of soul searching. And what I just visualized was like, if there are all of these, there's all of these, this like paperwork stacked up on top of what is what you're looking for. And it's kind of like the paperwork is everything that you feel like you can figure out on a in a logical sense. We have this square to Virgo that is happening. This square to the North Node in Pisces. And you're learning how to trust in what is not organized, it's not in the paperwork. And it's like if you can pick up that paperwork, which is like a burden, and toss it, put it in the shredder or something, you can see what's underneath. There's a version of you, you're already free. You are the truth. You are higher knowledge and wisdom if you allow yourself to be. But if you're hung up on expectations of you, including expectations that you place upon yourself, first and foremost, you'll just kind of feel like this disorganized mess. How can you, at this time, with these oppositions, improve how you communicate these ideas of freedom, of truth, of higher knowledge? How do you embody them? How do you be that person? How do you model this energy, and what's preventing you from doing it? There are sudden things that may be changing in terms of how you identify, in terms of what you attach to your sense of self. You may be realizing that limitations have been created through labels, through boxes, right? Through roles. You may be realizing you're bigger than any of this. You're a multidimensional being. You're an all-encompassing being, and you're trying to get people who don't even comprehend this about themselves to understand this about you. And that the time is up on that because that's an energy drain and that's also not applying your own wisdom, right? So you need to be around people who understand the same things you do. You know, it's about having your own philosophy and sticking to that. It's not about everything that the world has created for you to prioritize or to integrate into your beliefs. It's about what beliefs you're creating through the experiences that you've embarked on. That's your truth. The world cannot tell you your truth. A religion cannot tell you your truth. The people who came up with the religion, they wrote that because of their truth or what they wanted to be their truth. So, what is your truth and what do you want to be your truth? And how can you be the person that is a match, a vibrational match to those truths? I honestly don't know why I just keep seeing so much paperwork because I didn't even like a good analogy for that didn't even come to my mind. But it's something about paperwork. Maybe a lot of y'all have different practical things that you have to sort out at this time that got piled up. Maybe I'm channeling something there, but write your own philosophy. Decide what you want your truth to be and what your truth is, but how you want that to broaden your horizons and continue to create a reality for you that you don't need to feel the need to break free from. Honor what you feel the need to break free from at this time, but not to do it compulsively, but to sit with it and see, is it because is it something that impedes on your ability to authentically express yourself? Is it just that these people are not your soul tribe, the people that you were physically born into an environment that put you in close proximity? It's time to kind of let go of the obligatory connections so that you can step into your truest self in an environment that wants to help you germinate, that you also will be helping to grow by being yourself. Okay, and so kind of be curious about yourself. Kind of look at yourself like the specimen that you're looking to examine and explore and get to know and see that as an adventure. A lot of people may be seeing this as scary, right? Learning new aspects of themselves, breaking old paradigms and popping illusion bubbles. Um, but remember that those paradigms, those illusions, even if they were a part of your comfort zone, they were holding you back. So now, if you're able to look at them fully, able to accept, able to release, able to shift or transmute them into what is a part of your truth, this is going to feel like freedom. Okay. So now Capricorn risings. This is going to be in your 12th house. Now, I do Placidius, so with all of these, it can also be, it may also be in the prior house, right? So it may be in the 11th house as well. But anyway, so for Capricorn, this falling in your 12th house is like, what am I not seeing? What am I not seeing in terms of my world building? And how is that making me feel constrained? How is that making my world limited? How am I limiting my own options through what I'm not seeing? There's some type of truth that it may be hard for you to see head on right now. So, for a lot of you, these truths may be coming in more subtle ways, coming into the through the subconscious route and the unconscious route, more so than anything else. So, tracking things like how you're sleeping, your dreams, are important at this time. The dreams that you have while you're sleeping, but also what are the dreams that you've had throughout your life in terms of what you want to build, what you want to create, what you want to experience, what goals you want to set into motion, based on your fantasies, based on what seems like it would be a dream to experience in this lifetime. How are you creating limitations through your fears? How are you making everything so practical that it sucks the magic out of it? How can you step more out into faith? What are your beliefs? Are your beliefs limiting the potential that you have, the capacity that you have to create your dreams, to live your dreams? Or are they opening up your world to more possibilities? Are they opening more doors? Are they giving you more options that you can perceive, more things that you can be excited about moving toward? What is that dream that you tried to forget, but that keeps resurfacing now? That dream is yours and that dream isn't going anywhere. And that's what you may be learning. If you prioritize other aspects of life because the bills or the kids or the family, the obligations, and you set a dream aside to deal with the practical, you're learning that that dream, it doesn't just go away because there's some type of calling in it. There's some type of medicine in the pursuit of it. And so this is what is coming into your awareness at this time. This is being illuminated for you. And this dream is going to allow you to connect with yourself, with your higher power, with the world in a way that adds that magic, that whimsy back into your life. Okay. So Aquarius risings, this falls into your 11th house. And mm, excuse me, this falls into your 11th house. Okay. And the 11th house is community. You're right at home here. You rule the 11th house. This is a lot of mutable energy going on for the fixed signs right now. Learn to go with the flow when it comes to your plans, your social life, your network. It may not come in a traditional form of networking, a lot that is going to take you the furthest and feel the freest is going to align with your truth. It's going to come from the embodiment of your most authentic self and your most authentic self-expression. This is something that you have a great ability to tap into by nature, but also with this trine being formed to the sun and Uranus right now in Gemini. Pay attention to what people around you are saying. Pay attention to what they're not saying. There are not fixate, but just be aware and allow that to add into your wisdom in terms of how you navigate these social spaces, who you're meant to be around versus who you're not meant to be around. So, for example, like if you hate small talk and you're around people who don't have anything that feels more fulfilling for you to talk about in common, they don't have that to offer. And you just can't wait until the conversation is over. Free yourself. Free yourself, Aquarius. It is, you don't need to, and Aquarius, you already know this. So it's just about continuing to be confident in that sense of individuality and knowing that your freedom is there. And that is a part of leading the pack, not following. So the spaces that you're in, if you can't express yourself authentically, no matter how far out your thoughts are, then you know you're not necessarily in the right spaces around the right people. Now's the time, the perfect time, and Pluto is in Aquarius. So if you need to be transformed to embody more of your authentic self, to come out of the unconventional closet, then do that. But now is the time where you can really align with your tribe, your soul tribe. It's going to feel so good. It's going to feel so fulfilling. It's going to feel so freeing. And if you, as an Aquarius placement, ever felt like you don't belong, you felt very alien, you felt like, it's always feels less constraining to be with yourself, then the doors are opening right now for you to feel free in your connection with others. How your ideas, your information is able to come into collaboration with others, and how what others are communicating has subtle information for you in it. Has the keys, the information are the keys that are going to unlock the doors that a higher version of you is wanting to walk through. So don't hesitate to be outside of the unconventional closet. You don't need to keep these things in the closet to fit into the crowd when you don't even enjoy the company, right? So you're learning this right now. All right. And lastly, we have Pisces. Pisces risings, this full moon falls in your 10th house. Your 10th house of legacy, of career, of the world stage. But all of these things, it's so important to understand, are even deeper than the matrix version of this. So the world stage can be the universal stage, it's the cosmic stage, because what we do down here on Earth reverberates and echoes through the cosmos. It has an effect that is very vast beyond what we can conceive with our conscious minds. Pisces is the sign of the unseen. We don't need to see it to believe it. If you want to create the legacy that your soul has in store for you, for a version of you, a higher version of you, we cannot rely on what we can see all the time. At the same time, we can't get too far into what we can't see, what we have no evidence of, or that we're not actually being guided to, but it's some other influence that we fall into, a propensity of rose-tinted glasses or buying into illusion that can lead to disillusionment. So it's finding the balance and knowing that what you have to offer the world, what you have to offer the cosmos, is not necessarily something um, that is for everyone, right? But it is something that is true to you. And it's something that feels good to you to express. Pisces, feminine energy, internal energy, Neptune, the realms of frequency and vibration. So this is what you want to feel. And this is how you know what is illusion versus what is truth, which is a huge lesson for Pisces throughout life. You know by how it feels inside. How does diving into a certain subject make you feel? How does um, spending time with certain people make you feel? Does it make you feel like overstimulated, or does it make you feel at home? Pisces has that connection to Jupiter as well. And so, how can you feel at home? With this being a square to Sag, to the full moon in Sag, there can be a learning curve. There may be a piece of the puzzle that is trying to come into your awareness at this time. But the way that it's coming into your awareness is not just overt, but it's subconscious because this is Pisces. So, what have you been doing to create your legacy that feels good? What have you been doing for your career that you're doing just because it pays? How do you learn to make the foundation of your legacy, of your career, of your work that you're doing for for the world? How do you allow the foundation for that to be rooted in your heart space, to be rooted in how you want things to feel, not how you want to look on the world stage, but how it feels to stand there. So, what are you building your platform through? You know, what mediums, what modes of operation, what mentalities. And for you, it's really important for intuition to be leading the way. It's important for the unseen to be a part of the foundation. You're learning how to step into your beliefs in practice, how to stand on them. Stand on your beliefs. 10 toes down, don't be swayed because you are a mutable sign. You can get into a flow. And that Pisces energy can be influenced by different energies. So stand on business, and allow that business to be something otherworldly, to be something that is not always practical. You have that opposition to Virgo, which is on the South Node. So we're moving out of everything that is valid, needing to initially make sense. Step out into faith. Be okay with not knowing, but with not knowing the future, but knowing this feels right now. This feels freeing because then you know you're in alignment with your truth. And if you're invested in aligning with your truth will also be invested in aligning. It will be invested in you, right? It will be invested in your path just as much as you're committed to the path because your calling is inside of following that feeling. There is no prototype because you are the prototype. So you don't have a template, you don't have a blueprint that you're working with to create the legacy that your soul came here to create. So you have to remind yourself, I am the prototype and I am creating the blueprint. I am paving the path with each step that I take by me following my intuition, following the the insights that I'm getting on an energetic level. That is the only map that exists. And now I'm paving the way. I am creating a blueprint. And it's something, actually, it's not a blueprint because it cannot be replicated because only the prototype is a match for the blueprint. Okay, so you're making sure that what you embody is a vibrational match to the blueprint of your dreams. Okay. All right, so that's all. Thanks for watching. A lot more is in the pipeline. I have so much to share. I hope this is a beautiful full moon for all of you, and that just gets you one step closer to aligning with what it is that you've come here to experience and to create. Okay, enjoy.